Hi guys, my name's Adelaide and welcome to Adelaide Colours. This is my channel where I talk about adult colouring, and today I thought it'd be good to come back and do the part 2 of my Derwent INKTENSE background series. So this all began actually with this picture that I did in Derwent INKTENSE pencils with some Derwent Chromaflow on the top and a bit of paint pen, and I absolutely loved it and it was just so fun. And I decided that I wanted to do it again. Well, also my mum wanted to do it. So she's like, you have to make a video on that. But I wanted to do it again in another Maria Trolle book. So this was Luna by Maria Trolle with the fox. And then this is what we decided to do it in, Botanicum by Maria Trolle, and do the peacock. So there is the part 1 video out now where we do this background, which was lots of fun, and I'm so pleased with how it's come out. It was done in the Derwent INKTENSE pencils, and it was 2 layers from memory, and then we splattered some Winsor & Newton white ink on top and used some paint pen. And now today I am here to get back and do the ground. So I am doing it in the same color scheme as my last picture. So I will go through what I plan to use in just a second, and I will have all the materials written down in the description as well. So just let me find my fox again, because I just want to talk about what colors we're going to do the ground. Sorry, I had it and then it disappeared on me. Here we go. So yes, that is how we're going to do the ground. Now it's going to look approximately like that. I am going to talk about, so what happened when I did this is it was Derwent INKTENSE pencil, activated, fine. I think I did 2 layers, and then I did Derwent Chromaflow pencil on top, and it was looking lovely. I was happy with it. And then towards the end of the picture, when I was using orange paint pen, I dropped some on it. I couldn't believe it. I did it. So I did have to go in with some paint pen to cover it up. So it will look a little bit different from this, but I will talk about the differences, and I will talk about how, if you want it to look like this, how you get it, how that happens. But yes, let's get started. I'll just put that up. And let's talk about what we're going to use. So the important thing, I guess, is the Derwent INKTENSE pencils. Though you could use any watercolor pencil if you have the same tones. I do like the Derwent INKTENSE because they have such beautiful, vibrant colors. And we are going to do the ground in 4 of them. So we're going to use violet blue, which is 805, Ionian Green, which is 1320, felt green, which is 1530, and lemon, which is 110. So they're the color numbers for our INKTENSE, and then we're going to go over it with some Chromaflow pencils. And once again, I will list this all below, but I guess you could grab any colored pencils that you have. These are just, I have my Derwent INKTENSE and my Chromaflow in the same pencil case, so I do often use them together, and I find the colors complement each other. I'm guessing because they're both the Derwent company. So I'm going to use Obsidian Green 1540, Foliage 1700, Grass Green 1800, Citrus Yellow, which is color 10, and Parmesan, which is color 20. So I'm going to have all those out. Now, as well as that other materials, I am going to use a Derwent blender pencil. There are many different types of brands of blender pens out there, so whatever you have, I'm sure it will be fine. I am going to use water brushes. I have 2 sizes. I have a Pentel Fine and a Pentel Thick. I think it's called a Broad. I will link them below. Now, actually, what has changed since my last video is I have stopped filling these with water, and now, and you will see in the video, I will have just a small jar of water next to it that I will dip into, and some paper towel that I will use to control the water flow. And I've just found that better and easier for controlling the water flow. One of mine, I don't know, the mechanism must have stopped working how it was meant to, and so it would either be totally dry or pump out volumes, and I couldn't get it to mediate. So rather than buy new ones at the moment, I thought, you know what, I will just use a jar of water, and really it works just as well. So I will also have some paint pens, and I will talk about them at the end if you want to add them or not to get that effect I was talking about. These are roughly the same color. I just want to bring them up. So I actually used this. This is the Woomera paint pen. It comes in this amazing set that's like this. It's an incredible set, and each tray is like that, and you can unclip each tray. I really like it, and they're nice paint pens to use. They're a lovely brush tip, but the interesting thing about them is they don't have any color numbers, and everyone has the same code on them, ZJAM508. So I can't actually can I tell you what color? Actually, I've just noticed there's a G275 on the top. I wonder if they're all different. Because they're laying down, I didn't look on the top before. Yes, they got different. Okay, so if you've got that set, the G275 is the one I used, and so I will demonstrate a little bit. The Artex acrylic marker, that is another one that yes, you could use as well, and this is number 63. Sorry, I was looking on the top, but that's only got an A on the top. It's because this box, a big pink box, which I showed in my last colouring haul video, it has the bottom of the markers up. It holds them like that, which this one stores them like that, which is interesting that they store them in different ways. But anyway, and just a plain white. So this is just the Artex white brush marker, whichever one you have, even if it's a Posca bullet tip is absolutely fine. I don't know if I'll use it for the ground, but I always have a Sakura Jelly Roll. This is a 08 handy because they are just fantastic gel pens, and I always seem to reach for them. So they are all the materials I'm going to use. So give me a sec, we'll get set up and let's get started. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we are going to draw in the ground. If you noticed with the fox picture I did before, that kind of had some uneven ground, almost like some little hills. And I always find if you have a blank space, it's important to create interest. And we've already done that with the top of the background by creating this big hill that the peacock and the beautiful garden is going to be on. But I also think it would be effective if we created some little hills at the front. Now we want them to come down and be in front of the peacock tail feather, because if I'm thinking about the colors of how we're going to do the peacock, it's going to go from dark to light. So the tail will be the lightest because it's at the end, and I want it to be on a dark background to really pop. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to draw in some hills first. To do that, I'm going to use an INKTENSE pencil, and actually I am going to use the lightest one. So this is DERWENT INKTENSE Lemon 110. Now, one thing I have to watch in mine, it's the only INKTENSE pencil I've had it happen to. So I don't think it's common. I think it's just a fault. Is my pencil actually has an orange spot on it. So if you use it in a certain way, you will get orange instead of lemon. So it had to happen in the lightest pencil, didn't it? But oh well, it happens. So I'm going to make sure I'm not using that end. I've got that on top, and I'm just going to draw in the first hill. So probably start about here. We're going to go up, we're going to make it wavy, and it's going to go down. So that's our first one. Maybe I made it a little bit too wavy. The good thing about INKTENSE is that you can just activate it. So I'm just going to smooth that out a bit. There we go. I think that's good. And then we're going to go in and do our second one. So the same thing, we don't want it to touch the feather. We want to be able to color that dark, so our feathers will really pop when we get to, I will do the peacock and the garden in another video. So that will be a part 3, and that will be an INKTENSE basing and shading video. So let's do this hill, and here we go. So it's going to go into that one. So that one is in front of that one, and I think that'll look good. So now we have done that, let's begin coloring with our INKTENSE pencils. So usually I start with the darkest one. So this will be the violet blue 805, and I'm going to start with this big hill. So the dark color is going to be next to where we've drawn our yellow line. So all in there and along and up. So that's just where we're going to start. And actually, looking at it now, one other thing I should do is tape that off. I'm just looking at that beautiful page going, that might be a bit wrecked. So sorry, I will put that below in the description. Yes, good idea to tape off. I always forget it, but it's a valuable step, isn't it? Here we go. Now that should be washi tape. Now this washi tape's pretty good. I've used it quite a bit, so I'm not worried. If you do have a tape that's rather sticky, just make sure you kind of stick it to your clothes to get the stickiness off. Here we go. So that should protect that page. And let's go in. Now this colouring, it can be pretty messy actually. It doesn't have to be neat because we're going to be dissolving this with water. So you're going to see I'm just going to whack it down. It's not even a nice little circles. It's just fun, quick colouring. And I love this colour. If you're going to get any INKTENSE Derwent INKTENSE pencil, if you don't have any and you're at the art shop, buy Violet Blue 805 open stock. It is a beautiful colour. I use it an awful lot in my art because there's just something about it. It's just one of those magical colors. It's just kind of between purple and blue, but it's also great for shadows and for darkening. I mean, it might seem a bit weird. I'm going down with a purpley blue first for this hill that I'm doing, but yeah, it's gonna look great and make a big difference. Go. So now you can see that slope. I'm glad I made it more gentle. Don't worry, we will activate that yellow and yes, you won't notice it. Especially when right at the end we'll put a little bit of paint pen on it, white paint pen, yeah, it'll disappear. So here we go. We've got some of our purple. I think it's all there. I'll bring it up a little bit more. And here we are. Okay, so next I'm going to go in with our Ionian Green 1320 and I'm going to put that over the purple and extend it out slightly. And this green is actually going to go all the way in to the feathers. So it's going to fill all the way in and be nice and dark. And you can see our purple is already changing color. It's looking like a lovely, nice dark shadow now. And I should have mentioned this before, it will be a real-time tutorial. I think you've figured that out by now. But I find that they're easiest for me to learn things. So yes, that's what I just thought I would do. I have seen some other great tutorials that people have done and they record it and then they speed it up and talk over it. And actually I do enjoy that too, but I just found when I'm learning a new technique, seeing it in real time and having someone talk through it, like with the washi tape and why they're doing things when, just makes it that bit easier. Okay, so we're going to go over the purple. Just bring that green up a bit. And same with here. I'm going to go in there too. Now, if you go over any of your feathers, that's okay. I mean, really, I don't mask anything. I just want to enjoy the creating and the art. If you make a mistake, that's what paint pen's for. It's just to fix it. I'm really embracing this mixed media colouring at the moment. Because I just want to get things done and have fun and enjoy my colouring books and colour lots of pages. And yes, by using the mixed media, that's how it happens for me. Okay, so now I'm going in with my next pencil. It's the second lightest, so it's Felt Green 1530. So I've just taken it up a little bit higher than the last one, the Ionian Green. I am going to go over where I put that green, but I don't think I'd need to go over the purple because I've already done that with the other darker green. And I am doing this top bit first, just because it's easier. I mean, while that's wet, we will then go in and do this lower bit, and we can do it without putting our hand over the top bit because it's up higher, if that makes sense. Because I'm not very good at waiting. I always find that I need something to do on my page. I'm just sitting there waiting for it to dry. I'm better to go off and make a cup of tea or something, because otherwise I will have to touch something. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right, and now we're going in with our lighters. This is Lemon 110. And we're not going to go all the way. We're just going to definitely leave some of that white. I mean, we did that with the moon. I know we did put some Winsor and Newt and ink on it as well, but just that is so effective. And that's, I think, what makes the page really stand out, that value contrast. You want to make sure in your pictures you have really dark and really light. Well, that's what I like. I find I like high contrast. So there we go. That is our top one, our first layer done. Now I am actually going to use the small Pentel water brush pen, just because I am going to have to go into all these little nooks and crannies, and I think that'll make it easier. Got my paper towel handy that I will need. Just put another sheet on here. There we go. So I'm just going to check that you can see the water in the camera. Yep, you can. So you can see how much I use. Okay, and after you brush water, definitely brush some of it off. You don't want it all on, and we're just going to start at the top. So you're going to start with that yellow. You're definitely going to leave a white gap, and hoping this is okay so you can see. If it's easier for you, turn the book round. When you're working from light to dark, as you usually do with INKTENSE pencils, it is easier to kind of push towards the darkest, I find. But because this is on the camera, I just thought, no, I'll keep it the same way. I'll just move my arm this way. So as you can see, I'm doing little circles. I'm pushing the pigment down. It's getting darker as we go. You don't have to be fast, but I guess you do have to be a little bit quick, because wherever you leave a line, like if I left that, it would stay there and be hard to shift. Now, I do find, as I said before, with paint pen, nothing is there forever. If you want to change it, you can, so don't worry too much about it. This is actually looking pretty dark. I don't know if we'll need another layer. Maybe we'll just go in with pencil, which will cover it as well. We will see. And I am doing kind of a smooth line just where the edge of that hill is. Just because we want our rolling hills to be nice and smooth. But yeah, isn't it beautiful? Such a nice dark colour. I love these colours. And if you want it to be a little bit more mottled, you can go in and just dab it a little bit at the end. Here we go, like that. I think that looks quite good. So we can see I've got a bit of an edge just there from where I left it, but that's okay. We're just going to dab over it. It's going to be disguised, and with the layers we're going to put over it, I don't think it's going to matter. Here we are. I didn't end up colouring any Maria Trolle last month, which is such a shame. I'm determined to fix it this month, which is why we're doing this right at the beginning of May. I mean, I did want to do these videos and get it out before that, but just last month, April, was just one of those intense months. I mean, we did have school holidays for 2.5 weeks, so that's always, you know, any kind of talking art videos are out the window, so that's two. I also, at the end of March, so the month before, I sprained my ankle, and that's really, it turned out to be quite a bad sprain. I mean, I'm still in the moon boot, so that really hampered me for a while with the pain and getting through that and kind of finding a routine that worked and getting stuff back to normal. I mean, I've been so lucky because I have a really supportive family, but yes, I think it knocked my confidence a bit too. I felt a bit scared about coming back to this page afterwards. I don't know why. I mean, it's so beautiful, and as I said with mixed media, you can fix anything. Like nothing is ever wrecked, which I love. But I did do a week of Kirby colouring, Kirby Resans, which was fun, and I feel like that really got my confidence up. So we're back, and we're going to get this page done. And hopefully we're going to love it, because I really like how it's turning out so far. Okay. Now, as you see, I'm getting back to the dark, and I really want to go from light to dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave kind of like a natural kind of edge, like nothing sharp. I am going to wash off my brush and make sure there's no dark pigment left on it, because we're going to go light and come back down to the dark. And we're just going to make sure it's moist. And as you can see, like that water, just a dip, it really went a long way, didn't it? So you really don't need much water to activate these, which is what's so good about INKTENSE pencils. And I feel like the less water you have, actually, the better they look, because they definitely look more pigmented. If you use too much water, then they will be quite light and washed out, and it just means you have to do quite a bit more layers. Now, I have been asked how many layers can you do. I feel like on a book like this, Maria Trolle paper, I can do 2 layers comfortably and have no fear of it going through. I can then, after that, kind of paint on it. So as in put my INKTENSE pencil on a Caran d'Ache rough palette, and or actually off the tip of the pen, take it off the tip of the pencil and then paint on it for another layer, and that would be fine. But I don't know, I'd be brave enough to do more than that, if that makes sense. So yeah, I've swirled it, and now I'm going back in and just dabbing that darker color. I want it to kind of seamlessly match up from where I stopped before. So I'm hoping that dabbing will disguise it a bit. There we go. So just going to smooth that out a bit. Make sure it's all activated. Now that's something about INKTENSE. You don't want to accidentally leave some pigment unactivated, because when you come along to do your lights for the hill later, you don't want any dark pigment suddenly going in there. There we go. So that is our first layer. I'm really pleased with that. I think it looks great. So while we're waiting for that to dry, I'm going to go in and start these hills. So maybe I'll do this one first and then that one. So I'm going to get the violet blue 805 again and go in with the corner. As you can see, it's not neat. And so even though this is down the bottom, we're going to try and follow like the shape of the hill. I go a little bit too far, that's okay. And we're just going to go up the hill. Here we go. So just like that. Sorry, checking the camera. I'm just going to push it up a little bit. And then we've got the next color, which is Ionian Green, and that's going to be the same. We're going to go over that dark color. Take that up. Follow that organic shape of the hill. Lovely. And then we're going to go in with our felt green, 1530. Bring it up a bit higher. Go over that other green. And then finally our lemon, which is 110. And we're going to leave, as you can see, that white gap. Here we go. So we're going to go from light to dark again. So wet the brush, dry it out. You don't want too much water, you just want it moist. And we're going to start. And we're going to start with those little circles we did before. And if I want to go to another light spot, we're just going to wipe off that pigment. And kind of try and work down. Wipe it off. So you can see my bottom line, it's kind of organic. But I just want to do all the light so I don't get it mixed up with the darker pigment. Okay, now we're going to go in to the darker. Just doing that swirling at the start. If it's like this, where you can kind of see your strokes, your brush could be a little bit dry. I mean, it's good because there's lots of pigment, but it just means that you're going to have to put some water on it soon. I just want to get big, and I'll do that again. And you can see how that's darker than that? That's because I've gone in with new water. So the more water you have, the more diluted. But that's okay, we'll just do another layer and that'll even it out. Now we want this line to be smooth. It's the edge of the hill. I'm going to push our pigment back towards it. There we go. So I'm just going to clean off my brush. I'm just going to check I activated all the pigment along there, because we don't want it there and going into our hill. There we go. Okay, I think that's good, and we'll just, double check. No, nothing through so far, so that's really good. All right, wait for that to dry. We're going to do this one. I'm sure you're getting the picture now. Back to our violet blue. And this has a lovely shape, this one, so we're just going to follow that. Got my beautiful neat colouring on again. Okay, so we won't go all the way to the end. That should do. Let's make sure you go to the edge of your page. That's why we have the page underneath. Okay, now we're going to the Ionian Green 1320, and we're going to go over all that purple and bring it up a little bit higher again. There we go. And then felt green again, 1530. I love this colour. It might be one of my favourite. I mean, I love that blue violet too, But there's something about felt green, it just lifts the other colours. And I'm not going to go all the way down with it. And the lemon, 1110. Sorry, 110, that one. And I'm going to make sure I leave that gap. I will also have to get rid of that line I put in. That wasn't quite perfect, but I always seem to do that the first time I draw. My first wasn't that great, but that's okay. We will dissolve it. All right, so let's go in and do this. So I've got a little bit of water. I'm wiping it, making sure it's clean because I'm going into that yellow color. And turn your book around if you need to, but we're just going to push the pigment down. Sorry if this angle's hard to see. I'm just going to clean it off again. Now, if we have a look where I dissolve that line, it's not perfect, but that's okay. We can fix it up as we go. I'm going to dissolve that other line too. Oh, I suppose a little bit of pigment. That's why you need to make sure it's clean. It doesn't have green on it, but that's okay. We can fix it. And we're going to go all the way along, just pushing that pigment down. Okay, and go back in and do it darker. There we go. Get nice and clean. Now I didn't get this one as smooth as the others, which is a shame, but just go in and we'll dab along and we'll put another layer of green on top of it and it will be fine. Okay, make sure it's nice and clean. Now I'm just going to go in and check that I'm dissolving all that yellow. That's that dissolved. Ooh. Really scrubbed it there, didn't I? But that's okay. Same for here. I'm just going to go in, dissolve the yellow. And then I didn't have to draw that one, so I don't have to dissolve that. So that is good. It is coming along. So now I'm just going to fill that. That is dry. So we are going to go in again and do our next layer. So that is Violet Blue 805. And we're just going to put the purple where we did before. It's going to make it lovely and dark. And the other side of the page. I'm actually going to bring a little bit of purple just in here. I just feel like it needs it for depth. Okay, I think that looks good. All right, next the Ionian Green. Now we'll put that over the purple. And in all the little crevices around the feathers. That felt a little bit damp under me. I'm just making sure, lift my hand up so I'm not leaning on it. You could actually, if you wanted to, just get a piece of paper too, and even just go like that while it's drying. Okay. And we're going to get some felt green. Just add a bit of this beautiful colour. To the sides. It's going to be so lovely and so rich. And then finally, our lemon. 110. Just go over the top of that again. Okay, let's activate. So we're going to go more water, make sure the brush is clean, and start at the light. And that's just why I find the fine good, because you're going into such tiny crevices sometimes. I mean, sometimes I pick up the wrong one, and I do try and do it with the broad, but it's a lot harder. I have a lot more to cover up with the paint pen. And there we go. So I know it's not dry yet, but I think you can already see a difference in the depth of colour the second layer gives it. Just dab it in to blend it. After you've activated it. The Derwent Inktense are such a unique pencil. I mean, I don't know. You have to let me know, is there another pencil out there like them? You know, water soluble, ink based, so it's so vibrant. And I mean, they've been around for years and years and years, and I don't think anyone's come close. I mean, I do love normal watercolor pencils, especially Albert Dürer, the Faber-Castell ones, or the Super Color Soft by Caran d'Ache. But the no one here is vibrant. I actually also have an old set of the watercolor Derwent pencils, and they have such a pretty color palette. They have the same color palette as like their Derwent Artist, the original ones, which I love the color palette, but they're not very good watercolor pencils. I mean, you use what you can, but the problem I find is that they're hard to dissolve. And I think actually I've got a picture I did with them in Luna. I'll show you after I did this, and you can see I tried to do a background and those strokes did not dissolve at all. It's one of the pictures actually I mean to go back and fix, but no, you know, I'll get there. Here we go. So we've gone in again, and look at the difference between our top hill and our bottom hill. Yeah, I think it looks really good. That second layer makes a difference. I mean, we'll just check. Nope, nothing through there, so we're good. And we'll go into this hill, which feels nice and dry. Actually, let's see if I can find that other page I was telling you about. That's Albert Dürer. I really enjoyed them. That was when I first got them and I was playing. But that's Neocolor 2. Oh, that's a whip I've got. That's the Caran d'Ache Super Color Soft. I don't always get mixed up between them and the Color Soft, the Derwent Color Soft, but I think it's the Super Color Soft. Yes, so I need to go back in. It's all basted. I need to go back in with pencil. I like that one. That one. So that one I did with the Derwent watercolor pencils, and oh my gosh, you can see all my lines. Yeah, maybe I'll just go in with acrylic or gouache. because I think he's quite cute. It seems a shame to lose him. But yeah, I kind of learnt then, like, oh, okay, I can't really use them for backgrounds in my colouring books. But that's okay. Because, you try and use what you've got, don't you? Okay, let's go in with Violet Blue 805. Going to go over the purple like we did before. Nice and dark. Then Ionian Green 1320. Felt Green 1530. You're probably sick of me saying these four again and again. Anyway, nearly there. I don't know. You have to let me know. This is Lemon 110. If you prefer, like with repetitive elements like these, did you want me to just leave it, so to speak, and just color the first one and then come back later when I've done the rest, instead of filming it? I'm not sure what people prefer. Okay, so we're going to start with the light and work down. Nice and vibrant. Going to go back and just do all the light first. Okay, so that's all the light. I'm now going to go in and activate the darker colours. Oh, they're so beautiful and rich. I love green and purple together. I think a lot of my pictures seem to end up having green and purple together because I love it so much. Okay, just going to check that that is all activated. There we go. So we've got our two done. Now just our last one, which hopefully we can make look a bit neater because that one's quite messy. Going in with our purple. Now the dark green, Ionian Green. And Felt Green 1530. Actually, I'm so pleased with how this is coming out. I'm actually wondering if I need the colored pencil. Anyway, I will go in, put a bit of pencil on, but you could just leave it. I think it looks good enough. And also, like, once we've finished this picture, your focus is going to be on the beautiful peacock in the garden. So the background, it's just going to complement it. You're not actually going to look at it that much. You just kind of know it's there, if that makes sense, in your eye's periphery. Which is a shame, I guess. Oh, actually, the yellow, that's what I forgot. Because we put so much work into it. Now, usually I would be quite a bit quicker than this. Obviously, it's funny, when you talk and do art, it's a bit tricky. I think because when you do art and you're making decisions, there's no room in your brain for anything else. So I'm definitely do slow down when I'm talking about it, but that's okay. So I'm going to start from the top again and blend that in. Pull that line in. Look at our rolling hills coming to life. Okay, now we're going to go in with the dark. And just dab it to give it some more of that texture. That's the thing with INKTENSE pencils. I feel like they can be a little bit scratchy, and sometimes you can see the strokes. So that's why I kind of always swirl it and then dab it, because I feel like that texture covers it up. Okay, nearly there. There we go. No, haven't quite got to the edge there. That's okay, the pencil will cover it. Here we are. So they are our rolling hills. Aren't they beautiful? I just love the colours. As I said before, look, you could leave them there if you want. I think they look amazing. But I am going to go in with just a bit of extra pencil. I'm just going to check. Yeah, it's dry. So we're going to go into that hill first. We're going to get our DERWENT Chromaflow. I'm going to use the darkest green, Obsidian Green 1540. And this is just going to darken it up a bit more. What I'll do is I'll do half, and then we'll compare and talk about it. Now, this is a little bit damp, so if you're doing it like me. Actually, maybe I'll do this half. That'll make sense, won't it? So I can let that dry. I mean, this bit's nearly dry. That, yes, you can see the pencil really darkens it. And I know we're still doing a background, and this is a step actually we didn't do for the sky. We didn't go in with pencil. But essentially, this is a lot of what we'll be doing in the next stage when we get to the basing and shading. I mean, we won't be doing all the layers of the INKTENSE, but we will be putting INKTENSE down, water activating it, then going back in with the DERWENT Chromaflow, just to give it some shading, to highlight and deepen it where we need it. Make sure that's moved in. My page is moved in so I don't get a paper line. So the DERWENT Chromaflow are actually quite nice to use, and I always really like the pictures I do with them, I must say. But I still wish they had a thicker barrel and they were better made like the other DERWENT pencils, if that makes sense. Now I'm just going to make sure that I take the line to the edge of the hills and just smoothen it out a little bit. So I don't know, you have to let me know if you have them, how you feel about them. I have the 72 set. So obviously I have looked at and, you know, slightly lusted after the 150 set, but not enough to like put it on a birthday or a Christmas list yet. I don't know, maybe I'll change my mind. As I say, I do really like all the pictures I do with them, and having the 150 set would be amazing, but I do what I do with the 72 set fine. So I guess that's the question. How many pencils do you need? The answer is probably all of them. Here we go. Okay, so I have done that half compared to that half. That's just one pencil. We're going to go in with others, but yeah, you can already see it is deeper. So this is Foliage 1700. And we're not going to go over all the purple, but just where we put that Ionian Green. going to go over it. Okay, and then this beautiful grass green, 1800. I love this color. And we're just going to go up here, pretty much where we put that lovely felt green. And it's just going to brighten and deepen it. And next we've got citrus yellow, number 10. And we're just going to go in at the top. And we're going to go over where we went with the grass green at the top, just to blend it in a bit better. And finally, Parmesan 20. Okay, so that is it with the pencil. That is it without the pencil. You can decide, do you want to do the pencil or not? A little bit of extra time, an extra step. I do think it makes the colours more vibrant and a bit deeper. But at the same time, I think the peacock and the garden is going to be such a statement. Maybe at the end, if you left it like this, I'm pretty sure you'd be happy with it. But anyway, I am going to go in and do the other side now. That still a little bit damp, but feeling a lot drier. And I feel like our picture's really taking shape. I'm excited actually to get into the main part because that's going to be so fun. And we're going to do such beautiful blues and greens for the peacock. Actually, the only thing I'm a bit unsure of is when I've looked at pictures of peacocks here, they actually have a monochrome little feathers. And I guess it really highlights and impacts the other beautiful, super colourful parts. But I'm unsure. I'm like, oh, can I bring myself to put some duller, less exciting colours on my peacock? I don't know. Because it will be my creation. And I have to admit, when I colour, I do tend to do kind of, I don't know, big ovals. I know people are really good and do the little circles. I find that gives me a bit of hand cramp. That's probably why I really like using mixed media and putting other mediums under my pencils. I mean, I do all pencil work with Prismacolors, but that's about it. Because there's nothing worse than hand cramp. Can't colour. Okay, so I am bringing that green up, just as like a bit of a shadow under the leaves. Just a little bit. Maybe I'll do that this side too. This is still the Obsidian Green at 1540. Here we go. And that little bit there. Here we go. All right, so the next one is our Foliage 1700. And actually, one thing I didn't do just then with the Obsidian Green is I just didn't make sure this line was nice and dark and smooth. For our hill. So this was an absolutely beautiful illustration to start with. I love Myriad Trolls, Peacock and Garden. But I think I am realising with colouring books it's kind of our own interpretation that makes it magical. I don't know, there's just something about adding the background of the night sky and then some hills that really makes it. And I think colouring someone's colouring books like Curvy Rosanus, which are so detailed and usually do put these kind of details in for you. Makes you realise that. I'm coming back to Foliage 1700. Okay. All right, next is Grass Green 1800. I don't know, that's what I think. I do, sometimes I wonder, I'm like, oh, maybe the illustrators should be putting them in for us. But Maria Trolley does a pretty good mix of scenes, I think, and then smaller illustrations. I think I found that with Joanna Basford's new book, The Wonderful Wildflowers. It's a lovely book, the illustrations are lovely, but I feel like it needs more scenes to be balanced. I mean, I could put them in, but then I wonder, is that the point of the book? Maybe it is just for fun colouring. And that's why I did that colour along with my watercolour pencils, and I do want to get back to it. Oh, that's an INKTENSE I picked up. Okay, we're looking at Citrus Yellow 10 and just blending where the edge of that grass green is with the yellow. And then Parmesan 20. Here we go. So we've done the pencil in there, and I love the depth it gives. I think you agree. So that compared to these two, you really can see it. So let's repeat it now for our front hills. And I guess you could ask why I didn't bother to put pencil in for the sky. I mean, I could have done it to deepen it. I don't think it really needs it though. I think those night sky colors are so dark and so vibrant. It looks good how it is. And that's quite a big area. We don't have like these rolling hills to graduate through to do some really neat pencil coloring. And I think the contrast with the Winsor and Newton white ink is enough, if that makes sense. So going in with Obsidian Green 1540. That's good. And now I'm going to leave that a little bit longer. So we'll just focus on that one. Next is Foliage 1700. And actually, I'm not sure I need my blender pencil. I did show it at the beginning, and I do have it in case I do, but I'm so pleased with how that looks. I'm not sure it's really needed. Okay, Grass Green 1800. Such a beautiful colour. All right, Citrus Yellow number 10. And then Parmesan number 20. It's almost like an off-white, isn't it? Like a cream. And because we're kind of layering each colour over the last one that you coloured and then bringing it out a little bit, I guess we are blending it just with the pencils. Okay, so that is that hill. I love that. I think it looks really good. One more. And look at the depth. Like that kind of looks a bit light compared to that. So nice, so dark. So Obsidian Green, 1540. I don't know if you can hear that tapping. That's my dog Birdie. He just came and got a drink. Now he's off. Had a little investigation. Quite a big area, this one, though I'm sure you've deduced I'm not the neatest colorist from this. Even now I'm just making sure it's covered. It still looks good. Okay, Foliage at 1700. Okay, Grass Green, 1800. I'm just bringing that green out a little more. And then Citrus Yellow, 10. So it'd be interesting to know if anyone is using the Derwent INKTENSE pencils dry on top of it. Some people do. They just colour with the Derwent INKTENSE, wet and then dry. And they have a beautiful colour range. And they're meant to be lovely and soft. So it'd be, I did think about it. But my problem is I like all my loose pigment to be activated. I don't know, I just feel nervous about leaving it there. How about if you spilt something on it? I mean, maybe it'd be wrecked anyway, but I feel like it's easier to save. Or if you put paint pen over it and it's loose pigment, you're activating it and it could change color. Like, yes, that's why I always usually go back to colored pencil, even with Albert Dürers. Usually I put some polychromos on top. I mean, the Albert Dürers actually do color absolutely beautifully on top of themselves. I do really like that. But yes, I'm always a bit worried about having this loose pigment there that could be activated and turned to paint. I guess if that happened, you could just go over it again. There we go. So what do we think? I love it. I love these hills. I think they look amazing. Now, let's talk about paint pens. So in this one, this is what my hills look like, and I was really happy with it. And then, as I said before, I did later on drop that orange paint pen and had to save it. Why can I never find this page? There we go. It's right at the back. So I did have to put paint pen in there. So what I did is I would dab it on and then get my paint pen and, get my water brush and spread it out. So what I'll do, I'm really happy with how this looks. So I'm not going to put it on at the moment. In fact, I might put a little bit of white there because that's bothering me where I've gone over the line. But I think that's about it. I think it's looking pretty good. But I have got, sorry, I'm just looking for it. I did do kind of a practice color before to check. Here we go, where I put everything, and I'm just going to show you on this. So I'll just move my book out of the way. So if you want to put the paint pen on, you would get a green that you know you're happy with and you quite like the color. And see, we're just going to put it up here. So just going to dab it on like that, and then get our water brush, make sure it's damp, and effectively you're turning it into acrylic paint wash, and it's really good for blending in. Maybe a bit more water. There we go. So you blend it like that, and then you leave it a minute to dry, and then you just put a little bit more on, and that is what will give you the dabbed look, like that. So you can see, don't want to knock my water over now, see it there, and then, I mean, this paper is obviously thinner. I mean, look, it doesn't really like it because it's not the lovely Maria Trolle paper, is it? I'm grabbing extra paper so I don't get it on my finished page. And then once it's dry, you just dab a little bit more over it. And you can soften the edges out again. Yes, with your water brush. Yes, like that. So that is how I got that look. So if you want the paint pen look, you can dab it on top and do that, and it does look really nice. However, if I hadn't made that mistake, I would not have done that. So at the moment, fingers crossed I don't make that same mistake again. Where's my page gone? Here it is. So I'm going to keep it like that. I think it's lovely. I did say I am just going to use the white paint pen. So before I do that, I'm just going to clean off my brush. Make sure after having that green acrylic paint, there's nothing left on it. Acrylic dries hard, so you want to make sure there's none left in your brushes. Okay, just here. I don't know if you can see. Maybe I'll hold it up. There, I just went over the line slightly. Now I have activated it, so there shouldn't be any loose pigment, but I do want to cover it. So see, that's quite white highlight. I am just going to spread it out. My water brush, so it's just not as stark. There you go, but it's still covered. So I think that looks really good. Is there any others? Points, and you could go along if you didn't want the edge of your hill so yellow, you could go on and whiten that out. I actually think that looks quite good. It's like the light is catching it because it's a round surface, so I am going to keep that. I think to me it looks more three-dimensional because I have color, highlight, color, if that makes sense. It's like as it goes round from our golden moon. But yeah, so that is it today. We have completely finished the background, and then the next video will be on basing and shading. And we'll do our beautiful peacock and the tulips. I'm very excited about that. Oh, all right. Well, if you are colouring along with me, let me know either down in the comments, or you can tag me on Instagram, Adelaide Colours. I would love to know, love to see, or even if you're using these techniques on another page, I'd love to hear about what you've been colouring. Thank you again for following along with me. I appreciate it. I'm so sorry this has taken like a month longer than I thought it would. I do want to wrap this page up in the next week or two. So yes, get it finished and filmed and done and have a Maria Trolle page done, and then hopefully do some more. That would be really nice. All right, well, thanks again for watching, everyone. Thank you for the comments, the likes, and subscribes. I hope you have a fantastic day. Happy colouring, and I'll see you soon. Bye.